Jeffrey wants to be a millionaire, but he keeps trying get-rich-quick schemes because he's too lazy to put in the work and build a business himself. Jeffrey doesn't understand that success takes time. Adonis has spent years learning about business and applying his knowledge. He faced trials and tribulations, but refused to give in. Despite failing multiple times, he picked himself back up because Adonis knew that persistence was the key to success. At times where Jeffrey would have quit, Adonis kept trying. Of all the memories and stories that I have in my mind, the ones that make me feel the worst are the time in 2019, around September. It was the first time that I actually really went into the workforce and really started to work jobs. I listened to everyone's advice. I went to university, I got a degree. So I have a psychology bachelor's degree from Manchester Metropolitan University. And I wasn't like, the best student at all. I didn't even focus. And so the rate, what's the word? Like, the level of degree, you can get like first class honors or something. I got one of the worst ones. I got like third class honors, which essentially meant that I went to university for years and eventually got a degree that didn't even change my eligibility to get jobs. And so after I graduated, I had experienced life as like, university, living out at uni and, with the student halls and sleeping with girls and hyping up, going to parties. I was like, just so fun being a student. I get my results, I've passed, I've got a third class honors. Overnight I went from party student, enjoying his life, to just unemployed. And reality hit me fucking hard. I lived like really caged in from reality. So, through my time in university, I never once thought about like money or anything. I was just always thinking about partying and, like I was just getting student loans and money from my family, money from like random part-time jobs, which weren't that serious. But for the first time in my life, after I graduated, when I started to work full-time in a complaints department in like a car financing company, that's when it really fucking hit me, the reality of like how bad it is if you're just a normal drone worker, 9-to-5 kind of worker. When I mentioned this kind of story, the criticism I want to address straight away is that a lot of people say, oh well, like 9-to-5 workers are required, like, because they do really important stuff. And of course they do, okay, fine. No one's saying that like being some bid man or something, no one's saying that that's like not needed for society. But chances are, if you're watching this kind of video, chances are you just don't want to be the guy who absolutely, oh yeah, we need janitors, but like you probably don't want to be one. Yeah, there might be janitors that we need. There might be like bin men and people who work 9-to-5 that we need, fine. But chances are you have higher aspirations than that. Because I did. As much as it's so wholesome to work like a stable 9-to-5 job, it's like I had bigger dreams than that. And it was around this time that when I was first working my full-time job, and it really fucking hit me of like, oh, so this is how the world works. This is how money works. So we're the drones getting fucked over, making £8.41. That's how much I used to make, £8.41 per hour, just working for some big corporation that doesn't give a fuck about us. I had just come out of the education system, so I was still kind of new to working. And so, like you spend all your life in the education system, you get kind of used to having like, for example, Christmas break being like 2 weeks. You get used to like summer holidays, 6-week summer holidays. When you get a job, you don't get fucking like 2-3 weeks off for Christmas. You get like 1 day off, bro. And this girl next to me in this same job, she was like, oh, but don't worry, because we get 3 days off for Christmas this year. That was something to like boast about and feel excited about, that we get 3 days off for Christmas. I remember literally leaving my apartment first thing in the morning, going to work, working, and honestly working hard. Like I was actually a very hard worker, taking all these like complaint calls and everything I was taking. I remember on my best day, I took like 90 calls and everyone else around me was taking like 40 to 50. All like the people around me were just a bit like slower, eating snacks whilst we were working and shit. And I was like fucking fast with like, you have to like pick up a call, someone's shouting, oh yeah, my car's not working or something. You've got to transfer them to somewhere else to pick up the next call and stuff. And I got like a really good rhythm going. And I remember being like honestly a harder worker than the people I worked around. But just seeing their stories, and no offense to them because they were really nice people, but just for the first experience, seeing other people around me who had been working at the same company for years and years and years. And I just told my girl this story about a different girl who I worked with. She was employed there for 2 years. So get this, right? She was 16 years old when she started working for this company. She was now 18. She was still on £16,000 2 years later at age 18. I joined in and another person joined with me. We were making like 17.5. So we were actually getting paid more than she was, even though she was at the company for 2 years. And even our wage was low, 17.5 thousand a year, bro. That's not a lot of money, bro. And so this girl just always seemed, depressed, and she would literally burst into tears in some shifts and go like run off to the toilet and everything. She just didn't seem happy with her life. And I literally remember her one time having tears in her eyes of how much she hated this job. And do you know what she did, bro? She's talking to me about this. She shows me her phone lock screen and says like, oh, but that's my baby. This is why I do this. This is why this job's worth it. And this story would sound so sweet if it was an actual baby that she showed me on her lock screen, but it wasn't. What she showed me on her lock screen was a car. She showed me on her lock screen a car, and she said that, oh, but that's what makes it all worthwhile. That's my dream car. It was always my dream car. And with this job, I've been able to afford that. Car finance, by the way. Like, I've been able to afford to get this this car on finance. And I didn't want to give her a lecture or anything, right? I was thinking, what the fuck? You literally are working 9 to 5, 5 days, sometimes 6 days a week in a job that makes you cry, that gives you depression for a car that you've got on finance. And now you can't leave this job because you have to pay monthly payments. So you need to stay in this job. You must understand the script, or as Tate says, the matrix will keep you broke because of these desires to get shit that you can't afford. That's such a huge problem for young people, bro. You know, the overwhelming majority of young people have got, if they've got a car, they've got it on finance, which doesn't make fucking sense to me. It really, it blows my mind that people do this. If you have to get a car on finance, that means you can't afford that car. That means that car, it's out of your reach, but you're just cheating. You're stealing money from your future self to get the car that is too good for you right now. I've had friends show me this. Oh, it's only £300 a month. And I'm just thinking, you fucking idiot. I'm literally just thinking, you're a fucking idiot. You're 20 years old. You just got your first job and now you're stuck. Congratulations. You are stuck. Don't become like these people. These materialistic, hedonistic people who are just chasing this fucking status symbol of oh, but I've got a BMW now, or 5 Series, or some fucking bullshit they'll say about some car or something, or just expensive, oh, you see my new trainers, bro, oh, why are you spending money that you don't even have? Now, having said this, you might think that my advice to people is oh yeah, don't spend money. Not exactly. Most people think that the route to wealth is to save more money, and this is the propaganda, literally propaganda that's been fed to normal people, like all these people that we discussed, maybe like you, maybe like your parents. The propaganda that's been fed to the masses is to save money, because that's something that they've got somewhat control over today, don't they? It's if you tell some broke person who's making 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, oh yeah, save money, saving money is the route to wealth, and he believes you, then he's gonna have something to focus on instead of revolting, isn't he? Every advice you see online about investing, making more money, becoming rich and everything, all these motherfuckers will tell you, oh, saving's the best way. Investing your money is the best route to compound interest. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Anyone who's telling you compound interest is the route to wealth is trying to sell you their fucking shitty book. Honestly, these authors piss me off. I've read so many different books on finance, and I'm telling you right now, literally all of the standard famous books about becoming wealthy and stuff, they're all just trash by these authors who made their money through business, through writing books, and then they're telling you that the route to wealth is to save fucking $3 a day, and that's the reason why you're broke. That's the reason why you're broke, is because your parents bought a coffee 3 weeks ago for $3. That's why. Because if you invested that into compound interesting index funds and you waited 300 decades, then you'd have $56. See, you just lost out on 50. These motherfuckers will try and convince people that it's, oh, you bought coffee, that's why you're broke. No, it's not. You want to know the real route to wealth. You want to know the real way to stop being poor. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your feelings. It's gonna hurt your parents' feelings because they probably won't do this. The real way to become more wealthy is to increase your income, to make more money. Now, that seems common sense, doesn't it? That, yeah, well, yeah, Hamza hasn't said anything new. The thing is, people don't actually believe this. And you probably don't even believe it fully just yet. Because, I went on Reddit, the site Reddit. I went on that a few days ago for the first time in a while. I got a message on an old account that someone had created a subreddit for me and stuff. I go onto that and I just ended up scrolling a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, my Jeffrey tendency just kicked in, and the algorithm just makes you scroll and stuff. And I was seeing a bunch of posts from people in the UK, and they were literally all talking about how hard it is, financially in these times, that everything's so expensive. And I do emphasize with that. And people were all giving them advice. People were saying, oh, it's so hard. Anyone got any advice? And everyone, all of the comments, bro, in multiple posts, every single comment was talking about ways on how to save money. I saw this comment, bro. We've just replaced our internet broadband package to a slower one, and we're saving £9 a month! Exclamation mark. Bro, imagine if your parents told you, oh yeah, we're gonna get the slow internet package, the one that's gonna make you fucking lag. And we're gonna save £9 a month. Yes, guys, come on, we can do it. You know what we should do, guys? Imagine your dad saying this to you, he's read this fucking Reddit post. You know what we can do to save more money, guys? On Fridays, we'll do family flush day. Family flush Fridays. So when you go to the toilet, Junior, and you have a poo-poo, don't press the flush button, because we lose 36 cents every flush. Don't press the flush button, Junior. We'll all have a shit together, and then we'll press the flush button, and we'll save 36 cents per flush. Woohoo! This is how people are literally thinking these days. Not one comment on this Reddit post or this person asking any advice on how to overcome these hard times, these financial hard times. Every comment's talking about how to save more money. Oh, there's this food bank. Oh, there's this coupon in this newspaper today that gives you $1 off. Every single post. Not one comment talked about increasing the value that you provide to the market. You must understand. I really hope you can take this seriously. If you follow the advice of 99% of all these people who talk about finance and money, the older generation, the middle class motherfuckers and everything, if you follow their advice, bro, you will end up exactly like your parents, penny pinching, staying fucking broke. You need to have a new script that you follow, and the newest script of all these young entrepreneurs who all seem like scammers because they're making so much money. So it's gotta be impossible. They've got to be doing something illegal, right? If you see someone 16-year-old who's making $20,000 a month, 20K a month, and your brain just says, oh, well, he's got to be scamming people, right? There's no way that he could be doing that legit, because your brain can't even comprehend comprehend that he's following a different script to you. All of these old people who are giving you advice, like these older people, bro, they don't know shit anymore. I know this sounds weird, but like you need to start trusting those like guys that like seemingly seem like scammers. And this, like, I have a very personal story of this. There's a guy who I've been like networking with. His name's Iman, and I've mentioned him on a bunch of like recent videos. You know, the first time I ever saw this guy, Iman, like he's an entrepreneur. The first time I ever saw him, I fucking hated him. I was broke as fuck. I saw like his little YouTube advert like 2-3 years ago pop up, and he's saying that he's been making 100K a month and stuff. $100,000 a month. And I was broke, working full-time in this customer service thing, then part-time eventually. This motherfucker's talking about 100K a month, bro. I hated this prick. He must be a scammer. Yeah, of course he's a scammer. Of course he's a scammer. Yeah, he's lying. Yeah. I hated this guy. Then, you know, I didn't think about him for years, got into entrepreneurship, leveled up, till eventually he messages me on Instagram. And then when I became more successful myself, when I increased my own income, then I like looked back at the original video that I saw and I was like, of course that's not a scam. He's literally just teaching about marketing. Like, I understand that skill now. But for a while, I literally thought this guy who's become like my friend now, I thought he was like, yeah, he's got to be a scammer or some shit. This is all about increasing how much money you make, not how much you can save. You know, between 2017 and 2018, Jeff Bezos made $2,489 per second. That's more than most people make in a month. Bezos made it per second. Just let that sit for a second. You just let it sit for a second. Jeff Bezos just made another 2.5K. The real key to becoming a millionaire is increasing the speed at which you make money. It's not about saving. It's not even about investing. This is the truth, okay? Investing is what you should consider when you've already made $1 million, when you're already making 20, 30,000 a month, which essentially you don't even need to think about right now, right? Real investing of like stocks and index fund, all this shit, forget that. Investing in yourself, yeah, fantastic, but that's like a different phrase of investing. You know, buying books and stuff, it's technically an investment, but that's like a separate side. Investing in fucking stocks and crypto and all this stuff, bro, you should be waiting till you make like 10K a month. For now, the single most important goal that you could be focused on is simply that. Make $10,000 a month. That is now, like, you might be getting pissed off. How can I make 10,000? That's 120K per year. That's impossible. The thing is, there's people out there who are doing that. There's a lot more people than you realize who are making more than 10K a month. This is a very magical milestone to focus on, because when you make 10K a month, you can essentially afford anything. Obviously not like luxury things, but you can afford like anything that you would normally want in a life. You can go travel to any country and be absolutely fine. You can go get like an okay car and everything. 10K a month is like the good milestone to push for. And it pisses off people who have been following the old script. Essentially what you should do is set your goal to make 10K a month and go achieve that within 2 to 3 years from now. Do you have a level of like disbelief and almost like getting pissed off and offended? Like, no, yeah, that's stupid. Like, you can't make that much money. How does that make you feel when I mention this goal? It'd be so interesting for you to just step outside of your current like bias, which you've potentially gotten just by following the same script as your parents who are still broke, and just thinking like it didn't work for them. A lot of young guys are still following the footsteps of their parents and still trying to get like, you know, some good boy 9-to-5 career, trying to save £19 a month by cancelling their internet subscription or some shit. You need like a slap in the face, a hit of reality. And this question will probably do it, bro. Your parents have been working for decades and they're telling you to go to uni and, you know, study and everything and get a good job. They're telling you this shit, bro. They've been working for decades. They follow the script. They don't even have 50,000 in their bank account. Now that seems like an unreal number to have 50K. No one's got 50K in their bank account. Really think about it. Someone has been working for 20, 30 years and they don't even have 50,000 in a bank account. They've never even seen that much money in a single bank account before. You know, the average person doesn't even have fucking like £2,000 in their bank account. How is that possible, bro? How is it possible that your parents, that your teachers, that everyone that you know who's like 40 years old has been working for more than 20 years and they've got less than £2,000 in their bank account right now? Because they're following a script that doesn't work. They're trying to save $3 a month instead of trying to increase their income. And so how do you increase your income? How do you get to that magical $10,000 a month? You do it by changing what you do. It's not based on how hard you work. In fact, the people who are making a good amount of money probably don't even work as hard as someone who's making like minimum wage. Honestly, if you imagine like the Uber drivers, the Uber Eats delivery guys, they're making minimum wage. Their job is literally harder than the guy who's making 50, 100 times more than them, 1,000 times more than them. Why? Because we've been sold this lie that it's how hard you work. Get any job, quick. You know, your dad will say this to you like, oh, just apply for 50 jobs a day, just any job and work really hard. That's not how it works. Hard work isn't that special anymore, bro. Any fucking guy can go work like a donkey these days. Any guy can go work for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. It's fine. Anyone can do that, but it's not about how hard you work. It's what you work on. If you're working on Uber Eats delivery, then you're never gonna become rich from that. And yeah, you might see this one fucking article. Oh, this Uber driver became a millionaire because he saved up and got really lucky. And just shut up, bro. Come on. If you're making £9 an hour, you're not gonna fucking get rich from that. So how can you change what you work on? That's the most important thing. thing. Now, you can still go on to some high-level careers that would make a good amount of money. Cybersecurity, sales, those things are really good. But the majority of guys who still back the idea of getting a 9-to-5 job aren't even going in those fields. The majority of guys are going into fucking like psychology like I did. You're not going to make a good amount of money from psychology or like being a fucking doctor in the UK. Junior doctors in the UK make 30k. My company makes that every 2 weeks. People don't realize, like, just because you've been told like this stereotypical job is like so high earning, like a doctor salary, oh wow, 70k a year. You know, once you level up in the UK, you get paid 70,000 a year. Bro, my first video editor makes more than that per year. People don't realize it's not how hard you work. Oh, he does 80 hours in the clinic. It's not how hard, it's what you do. So how can you provide more value to the marketplace? These are questions that you should be asking yourself. And it's true, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. This is a criticism I get so often with these 9-to-5 guys will comment to me, oh, not everyone could be an entrepreneur, because if everyone was an entrepreneur, then the entire world would die. Well, yeah, okay, sure. But who's saying that everyone should be an entrepreneur? Who's saying that everyone should be an influencer? I'm talking about you, a guy who doesn't want to go into 9-to-5. So it's like, for the guy watching this, who's been like listening to every word that I say, he was never gonna go into like fucking 9-to-5 and do well there anyway. I'm not saying that yes, 100% of people should become entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship's so great. Yes, we need bin men. Yes, we need plumbers. Okay, fine. But the young random guy who's watching this, who doesn't want to go be a bin man, who doesn't want to go be a plumber, and would rather make money from like his laptop, and would rather be one of these like wealthy 21-year-olds rather than like the struggling fucking 35-year-old who's got 2 jobs because he needs to support his family. We're supposed to like think, oh well, yeah, that guy's so awesome. Like, he, you know, the janitor who works 50, 60 hours a week to provide for his family. We're supposed to think that that's really awesome, and you know, he's providing, which is nice. But the thing is, you should have the desire to make your life better. Just because it's hard work and it's providing doesn't mean that you can't level that up one more and think, okay, I'm providing right now, but I'm out of the house. I'm not even raising my children. My wife has to work. Perhaps the better, more like wholesome thing should be that you become even more successful, that you don't need to be out of the house for fucking 80 hours a week. The thing is that I can't really hold your hand through this and tell you this is exactly what you should do, because the thing that I can really tell you step by step how to conquer is like YouTube, attention, followers on social media. That's the business I've become well with. But there's 500, 1,000 different things that any young man watching this could go and attempt and get good at. Honestly, it doesn't even matter like which business idea, which skill you choose. All that matters is like you choose one which has very high earning potential, and then you get fucking good at it. It doesn't matter if you go into sales or artificial intelligence. What matters is which one could you stick to for 20 years from now? Which one could you be better than the majority of people? Which one gives you some level of intrinsic pleasure? Now, I think we'll all agree that young men are suffering in this modern day, and you know, a large part of that is these addictions like social media, porn. A large part of it's like, you know, the struggle of the dating market. But another huge and growing problem that young men are facing, the reason why I've made this video, is because young men are getting fucked over by like the script, the system in terms of money and wealth. Now, Tate really spoke about this a lot, and I think no matter what your views of him are, and you know, some people still think he's like a human trafficker or some shit, it's like you can't help but respect a man who's pushing forward this message that like, yeah, young people should learn how to actually make money properly, because the education system isn't teaching us this. Do I need to convince anyone else that like university isn't what it seems? I don't think anyone really needs me to go over that argument that yeah, like college is probably a scam. It's only really worthwhile if you're fully gonna go and study something that you absolutely need to go and do the career. You know, you need to study medicine to become a pharmacist or a GP or something. Okay, you need the degree. But for the majority of people, you don't even need the degree to go and do the business or the career that you were interested in. There's still people to this day, drones of young people who are going to university to study business. I will say that again, and if that doesn't like fuck up your emotions somehow, bro, there's drones of young people every year going to university to study business. Just that one sentence should just make you think of how fucked young people are. The young people are going to university to study business instead of actually just making a business. They're studying by learning from a professor who isn't even a successful businessman. Oh, but it's university, it's very prestigious. Oh, but you know, the networking, Hamza. Oh, the network, bro, shut up. School doesn't teach young men how to discover the skills needed to actually explode your income. All it really seems to do, like, I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory, all it does is just like condition you to be an employee, to sit in like a little classroom, wait for your boss to tell you what work to do and just blindly do it. And I know there's going to be so many people who disagree with this video, and it's going to get hate, and there's going to be people like, oh, well, you know, 9 to 5, yeah. Nobody's like hating on like some high level 9 to 5, like, oh yeah, you're a software developer or something, you know, you are fucking up people's mental health if you're like working at fucking TikTok or something, fine. But like, nobody's hating on the fucking hardworking doctor or anything. It's not that we're saying they're bad people. It's that what we're saying is that the system is convincing young people that that's the only route and that's the best route possible. And you know, you get the social status of being like a doctor or something, without really young people being told of like just how detrimental it is to pigeonhole yourself into that kind of career. It's money that you're after. You could make a lot more money a lot faster through something like business and entrepreneurship. Do you really want to work 9 to 5 getting orders from someone else for the rest of your life? Because I couldn't do that personally. Maybe that means I'm not disciplined enough. All right, fine. I'm not disciplined enough to have like a boss for the rest of my life. And you know, in some ways I have like a boss because YouTube is technically my boss. They could fire me or something, fine. But like I don't have like some guy fully telling me like what to do. I don't have to commute to some office, which I hate. Like no one's against the best 9-to-5 careers, but we're all against the worst 9-to-5 jobs. That's what this video is really trying to nail. Click this video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.